Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. I just recently picked up a new Oracle card deck. It's a Fairy Oracle card deck by Brian Froud, a really great artist. And it just got me thinking about my own experiences with fairies and elementals. And I just thought I'd share some of those experiences with you today. But I do want to just first talk about this Oracle deck. I just got it during the week and I'm really in love with it, to be honest. Now it comes with a book, and the book is also really good. There's a lot of stuff in it. What I like about the book is it kind of goes through each of the cards in the Oracle deck, and it explains the energy of each one and the symbolism. But also what I like about it as well is it tells you that you should work on your intuition along with it. And maybe if the card is saying one thing, if the book is saying one thing about a card, but your intuition is telling you another, go with your intuition. Um, but yeah, this oracle deck is called the Fairies Oracle, and I'd highly recommend it. I'll just show you some of my favorite images from the cards. I'll show you some of my favorite cards. Like I said, there's a lot going on in each of the cards. There's a lot of different creatures and fairies and elementals and nature spirits in each one of them. And as you're doing a reading for yourself or someone else, your eye or your intuition may be drawn towards a certain um, creature or elemental. And if you're drawn to a particular one, if you really listen, that one may have a specific message for you. And I just love it because it works on your imagination, and our imagination is very much linked to our intuition as well. So it's a really, I don't know, I just found it really easy to connect with. Now another one of my favorite cards here would be the gnome. Now I don't know, but for some reason I've always felt connected to gnomes. I've always loved gnomes. I don't know, maybe it's perhaps because they're always drawn beside a mushroom that I liked them. But I also love the fact that they've beards as well. I don't know, I just think it's really cool. But I've always loved gnomes. I have a wee statue here of a gnome that I've had for a while. As you can see, he's like perched on a mushroom and his cool wee beard. I actually call him George after George Harrison. Um, but yeah, um, that's the cards. Oh, actually, here's another cool card I like. Now, this card here kind of reminds me of the movie The Labyrinth, if you remember that movie from the 80s with David Bowie. I find that when you look at this card, you can almost hear the goblins and the creatures in this card giggling and laughing amongst themselves. It just I really feel that these cards really open up your intuition. I really love them and I'd highly recommend them. Here's another one of my favorites. So yeah, like I said, these cards just reminded me of some of my own experiences with fairies and elementals, and I'm just going to talk to you about some now. I remember one time myself and a friend went to the Hill of Tara here in Ireland, a lovely spot, and it was a summer's day, the sun was out, it was a really nice day, and the two of us just decided to do a little meditation. Now my friend went off by himself to do a meditation by himself somewhere, and I found a wee place on one of the mounds there. And after a half an hour meditation, after I was done, I slowly opened up my eyes. And when I opened up my eyes, on front of me, I saw this little person. He kind of reminded me of my grandfather. And he had a wee walking stick, and he was walking towards me. And I noticed then that he noticed that I noticed him. And when he noticed me noticing him, he kind of like froze on the spot. And he kind of looked shocked. He had a wee shocked look on his face. And literally about 3 or 4 seconds later, he just vanished, disappeared. And that was my very first time seeing like a fairy or something. And I really feel that this was what fairy tales talk about as being leprechauns, because he had that whole leprechaun vibe, like not really like the drawings you'd see of leprechauns, but if I was to say what it was, I would say it was a leprechaun, because that's just my feel of what I got from him. But yeah, like I said, like these fairy tales, I don't feel like, I feel these are stories that actually come from somewhere, and that these beings are actually real. It's just that we can't see them. Like I know myself from going out of body all the time, um, that I do come across a load of different beings and creatures and ETs, and so just because we, um, just because we can't see them doesn't mean they don't exist. Um, it's just that they're vibrating on a little higher of a frequency, that they're just out of our vision, out of our sight. So yeah, that was one cool experience, and I really felt like that opened me up to the whole elemental kind of world, and it got me interested in it. Now later on, then I don't know how long later, but I remember being out of body, and I visited one of my favorite spots in England, a place called Glastonbury Tor, and it's just this cool hill on Glastonbury. I actually I went there a number of times before. I remember staying over in Glastonbury for a week actually, and just sitting on that hill, and the energy there is just really special. Definitely connected to fairies. I think when you go there, you can actually get a feel that you can kind of get that feeling that there it's filled basically with like fairies and all sorts of mystical kind of creatures and beings. But yeah, one night I went out of body and I wanted to visit Glastonbury Tor again. So I went to Glastonbury Tor, and as I was walking along it on my in my astral body, I noticed this ring. There was actually a number of different rings, like circles along this hill. And it was actually, the circles were made from candles. It was like candles just all around in a circle. And there was at least two or three of these circles on this hill. And as I went over to one of them to get a closer look at it, I noticed little fairies in the middle, kind of just dancing, as if they were. Now I couldn't hear any music, but it was as if they were dancing to music. They were kind of holding each other's hands and just dancing around. And these little fairies, they had wings as well, and the wings kind of reminded me of wings that you'd see on like a dragonfly, very shimmery. But yeah, this was another experience with fairies that I really enjoyed, and I'm glad that I saw it as well. Now, like I said, these beings, 100%, I'm convinced that they're real. Just because we can't see them doesn't mean they don't exist. And I'm just really sharing these stories with you today, just to make you think and to open your mind to what might be possible, and maybe even try and connect with these beings. You can do this by going to maybe to a forest or anywhere out in nature and meditating and maybe calling upon them, and you might be surprised with what comes to you. Um, Children would often talk about having imaginary friends, and a lot of people would say that these imaginary friends are actually fairies that they're seeing, because children can be very psychic and can pick up on realities that us as adults we don't tend to see. So yeah, that's just something to think about. If you had any experience with any fairies or elementals, I would absolutely love to hear your stories. Please don't be afraid to leave a comment in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. That's really all from me. I really, like I said, I just wanted to share a few stories with you, and also talk about my new Oracle deck, which I would recommend, like I said, if you're interested in like fairy kind of stuff. Yeah, so that's all from me for now. I'll be back with more videos in the future, but in the meantime, I hope you're having a lovely week and have a nice weekend. Chat to you soon.